In Rise of Kingdoms, getting legendary blueprints has pretty much always been a goal for an account. You want to get that legendary armor, and to do that, you're going to need to get the blueprints. And in the most recent update, we know that we're going to be seeing some form of equipment upgrades. And we also know that part of the cost to upgrade your equipment to probably tier 5 is you're going to need another blueprint. So in today's video, I'm going to be discussing how to get more legendary blueprints. I'm going to give you every single type of blueprint because there's around 3 categories when it comes to legendary blueprints. I'm going to tell you how to get them as a free-to-play and a pay-to-win, and I'll tell you which methods of acquiring blueprints are actually good value. So if you want to be able to get more legendary blueprints to prepare for the upcoming equipment changes, you want to stick around till the end of the video. Now, let's start off today's video by discussing what I believe the 3 forms of blueprints are, because when you look at all the legendary equipment, there's definitely blueprints that fall into different categories especially, and the first category of legendary blueprints are the free blueprints, is what I like to call the ones that are the easiest to acquire. They're often found in things like the crystal chest, and they can be gotten from pretty much any method in the game. They're really easy to get. Sometimes they're available in other events, but often you just get them in the crystal chest. So the free blueprints are the easiest blueprints to get, and often they aren't too bad value, but the thing is, you're paying the same price of materials for arguably less stats in most situations. So the free blueprints are good, but they're often not as good as some of the other more expensive blueprints. The second category of blueprints are the KVK blueprints. These blueprints are only available in some form when it comes to a KVK. So the Sacred Dominion, or the Hammer of Sun and Moon, or the Archer Weapon Hydra's Blast are mainly KVK blueprints. Or you've even got your most accessories pretty much. So Ring of Doom, you've got Horn of Fury. Most of these accessories are only available in some form when it comes to KVK, so they're mostly just a KVK blueprint. The final and third tier blueprint are what I like to call your gem blueprints. These are often the set blueprints for a troop type. So the cav set, the infantry set, the archer set, and even the siege set actually do count as some form of a gem blueprint. It's important to note that the leadership set also counts in that, but the gathering set can be claimed in other methods, so I don't think this counts as a gem set. Yes, I'm pretty sure you can buy it for gems, but no one would ever do that with gathering gear. But for the most part, it's just your 5 main troop type sets here, which will count as some form of a pretty much gem blueprint, because they are pretty much only available through gems. Some events will give you blueprints for them, but often you have to spend the gems to actually unlock them. So now that we've discussed the 3 types of blueprints, your KVK blueprints, your free-to-play blueprints, and also your gem blueprints, let's discuss the best ways to get them, and we'll begin with the free-to-play methods. The first way to get blueprints as a free-to-play player is just through the crystal chest. This is probably the most common way you get blueprints. You can get every single rarity of blueprint here, so you can get up to, from green all the way up to legendary, and often you'll get a ton of blueprints from this. Just by playing the game, I've gotten a ton of these blueprints that I don't even use. So you'll notice that over time, you're gradually going to get a ton of blueprints from the crystal chest. If I just show you the amount of legendary blueprints I have, you'll notice a lot of them are those free blueprints. So this is a free blueprint: the Shadow Legion, Navarre's Control, Sacred Grips, Tassets of War, Eternal Night, Mounts and Crushers, Commander Boots. They're all just free blueprints. I didn't have to do anything for them. I just got them from the crystal chest. And crystal chest blueprints are obviously really high value because they're pretty much free. Crystal keys, you're never going to buy them with gems. Most players shouldn't go out of their way to buy them with gems. A lot of events will give you like 10, 15 crystal keys, so you're going to be getting these like they're going out of fashion. And the same thing with these purple blueprints here. Even though they're not a focus of today's video, they are still somewhat important for people who are in the earlier stages of the game. So the crystal chest easily offers like a large amount of value for the amount of things you have to spend to get those keys, since they're literally free. So you're going to get a ton of blueprints from here, and some pieces are really good. Standout pieces would be like Navarre's Control and Ash of the Dawn, and maybe even the Milky Way. They're really, really strong pieces. They give large amounts of health, and really they're available in the crystal chest, so you can't really complain about it. So crystal chest is one free-to-play method of getting blueprints, but only the free blueprints. They don't work for KVK or gem blueprints. The other method of getting blueprints is through events. So these events could include stuff such as seasonal events like this event right here, Esmeralda's Prayer, because there are blueprints available here like you can see. Unfortunately, there are no legendary blueprints available right now, but some seasonal events do actually give a few legendary blueprints. Whether it be the 7k gem event, which I think gives you a few legendary blueprints, sometimes a few Thanksgiving events could give legendary blueprints, but the main events you're looking at are the events that cost gems to get blueprints. So first of all, you've got Esmeralda's House. This is a very, very lackluster way to get blueprints. It's more of a material event, but you can see that you can get blueprints from Esmeralda's House. The other two events which you'll notice give a lot of blueprints and are very, very common and come around a lot are the Dig event, which will come around pretty much just before an Ark of Osiris begins. So I know my kingdom is due for one very, very soon. And then you've also got the Egg event or Holy Knight's Treasure. So you've got the Hunt for History, you've got the Esmeralda's House, and you've got Holy Knight's Treasure. Out of those three events, they each do something different. Esmeralda's House, which is the one right here, is best for materials, but it does have some blueprints, like I said, and you'll notice even on the tiered rewards, there are some blueprints, I think, at the start. No, there's no blueprints at all, I was mistaken. But yeah, this is the event that's going to give you some blueprints, but it's best for materials. Holy Knight's Treasure is best for blueprints and materials. It's a good mixture right there because you spend gems, you can choose which blueprints you want, but keep in mind it cycles between different blueprints. So sometimes it will be like an accessory with a helmet with a weapon, and then sometimes it'll be like a chest plate with gloves and legs. That's not the exact cycle, but it's usually 3 different pieces or 2 different pieces which you can choose from, and you'll get those blueprint fragments from that event. But often, if you're looking to get blueprint fragments, the best way is through the Holy Knight's Treasure. The Dig event or Hunt for History event, which will come around also within a cycle of either Holy Knight's Treasure or Hunt for History, is the most free-to-play event. Pretty much by just killing barbarians, doing barbarian forts, and gathering resources, you'll be able to acquire some hammers which you can use to get blueprints from the event. And every 5 floors, you'll be able to access some of those gem blueprints. So all these events besides Esmeralda's House will give you gem blueprints that are going to be used in equipment sets. So the best way to get them as a pure free-to-play is just to Hunt for History, because you can stash up those hammers. You can get 30 per event, and then the next event get another 30, so you've got 60 total. And then you could do the actual event. So you can stash hammers with the Hunt for History, and it's a really good way as a free-to-play or a low spender to get some of these blueprints pretty much for free. But often you'll notice they are still a bit expensive to get, and especially from Holy Knight's Treasure, a blueprint will probably set you back like 15 to 20,000 gems. So they're still expensive. Even a Hunt for History and Holy Knight's Treasure, you're still paying a pretty penny for them. That is why I do like to call them the gem blueprints. The next way to acquire blueprints is through the KVK Shop, and here is where you can acquire some of the more beefy blueprints. And in the shop, there's 2 types of blueprints. You've got your main accessories. These are going to be the best accessories in the game. Of note here, the 2 best accessories to purchase are the Ring of Doom and the Horn of Fury, and this is the only way you can actually acquire those 2 blueprints. Every other accessory here, to my knowledge, can be acquired through events. Besides Mora's Web, it might also be KVK only, I might be wrong there, but I know Concealed Dagger, Greatest Glory, Vengeance, and Scholar's Lucky Coin are available in other events. Scholar's Lucky Coin most notably available in KVK 1. So yes, you can actually acquire some of these blueprints elsewhere, but Ring of Doom and Horn of Fury, the 2 best accessories in my opinion, are only available in the KVK shop. And if you want to get more blueprints, this is probably a good way to get those accessory blueprints, since it's much cheaper than doing some of the other events. And if you've got the spare currency and you don't need Ring of Dooms or Horns of Fury, you could get like a Concealed Dagger or a Mora's Web. The other type of blueprints available in the KVK shop are the KVK weapons and KVK helmets. These are pretty much limited weapons for their troop. They're slightly stronger than the normal weapons, so you'll see that the normal weapons give like 20% total stats. I actually can't pull it up on this account, but they give around 20% total stats, where the KVK weapons give around 25%. So they're only slightly better, and they're only worth it if you get a special talent. But if you need to get some weapon blueprints, this is a good place to do it. And also there are 3 different helmets available inside the KVK shop as well for your purchase. So the KVK shop is a very good way to access some more exquisite blueprints that are going to be a little bit stronger, but they're also a lot more expensive. So for example, a legendary accessory is 120 materials to fully craft, 40 leather, 40 ebony, and 40 iron. And the KVK weapon is like 100 materials, which is like 30 or 40 more than a normal weapon. So these blueprints are certainly more expensive to acquire and get, because conquest coins and season coins are really expensive and difficult to acquire, and they are also more expensive to craft. So getting these KVK blueprints can be difficult and also can be very expensive. So do keep that in mind, but it is important to note they are fairly easy to access for the most part. If you play the game for a long enough time, you'll easily get enough to buy Rings of Doom and Horns of Fury. but mainly you're going to be looking at getting those KVK weapons, which will take longer because you're going to need to save up for those conquest coins. But like I said before, these might not be the best value for you if you aren't a higher spender player, because they are very expensive to craft and they're only a minor stat increase. Now, the next way to get blueprints is through the KVK version of Sunset Canyon. This is called the Lost Canyon, and really simply, the Lost Canyon is pretty much just a different version of the Sunset Canyon, where you can earn coins that you get over time to purchase pretty much blueprints. That's the best value item inside that shop, and there's 4 blueprints that are available. The most common one that most people will buy is the Call of the Loyal. This is an accessory only available in the Lost Canyon, so if you want to get that, you're going to have to do the Lost Canyon. To be honest, it's very cheap to get Call of the Loyal. Most players can get it really easily, and I have a talented one on my Nebu, so this is a very good free-to-play low-spender accessory, especially if you're looking to just fill up an accessory slot. Go grab a Call of the Loyal. The March Speed is a nice thing to just have as a bonus. The other thing available is a Peter's Sickle, which is pretty much absolutely useless, but it's also available in the Lost Canyon. Other than Peter's Sickle and also the Call of the Loyal, you're going to be looking at 2 other pieces of equipment. These are the Sheer Return Boots, which are available, like I said before, in the Lost Canyon mainly, and also you've got yourself the other infantry version of the pants, the Eternal Knight. So if you want to get these, they're also available in Lost Canyon. So do keep that in mind. Those basically 4 blueprints are the main ones available in Lost Canyon. I don't think I'm missing any. I'm pretty sure that's all that's available. And the Eternal Knight and Sheer's Return are very expensive to get. It's probably going to take you like a full KVK of grinding and being in around rank A or around rank B to actually get these blueprints. But for getting the Peter's Sickle and also getting Call of the Loyal, it is very cheap and you can easily acquire it. Now, the final method of getting blueprints as a free-to-play low spender especially is through the events that just come around. There are 3 main events that will come around that you'll notice give you a chance to get some blueprints, and these are the Golden Kingdom, Ian's Ballads, and also Soroli Crisis, where pretty much you're just fighting off some AI enemies, either with a group or by yourself, to get yourself some form of rewards. It includes materials like you can see in Golden Kingdom, usually some resources, usually some XP, and also you get conquest chests, which are involved in each event, and each event will give you a conquest chest that has a really high chance of giving you a crystal key, and then a lower chance of giving you 1 fragment for any of those gem blueprints, because the gem blueprints are available obviously in the gem events, but also Ian's Ballads, Golden Kingdom, and also Soroli Crisis will have a chance at giving you these blueprint fragment choice chests where you can actually pick out the gem blueprint. So you can see right here, Tacits of the Hellish Wasteland are actually a gem blueprint, and I have the option to get them if I did, and Dragon Breath, basically pants, also are available. So the gem blueprints are available inside of those events, but keep in mind you can't get accessories from those from my knowledge. So you can really only acquire a few items from those events. You can acquire pretty much every single piece of just set clothing, but the accessory stuff is only really available from the Holy Knight's Treasure. So either KVK Shop or Holy Knight's Treasure. But if you're doing Ian's Ballad, Soroli Crisis, or Golden Kingdom, you have a chance to get some crystal keys, or also a chance to get some more legendary fragments, which in the end actually do add up, because often you'll find you're like 1 or 2 fragments away from forming something, so having these fragments actually has helped me in the long run, and it's just a nice thing to do. So do those events, you're pretty much guaranteed to get at least 1 fragment. Sometimes you just get 15 crystal keys, but even then they give you speed ups and some blueprints as well. Now, one final free-to-play method I forgot to mention is actually through the Lucerne Scrolls, which at level 30 will always have some form of a blueprint available in both the premium tier and also in just the free-to-play tier. The free-to-play tier often gives you some form of a gathering speed print, pretty much that's all you're going to get, but in the pay-to-win tier you pretty much get a fully formed version of one of the crystal chest blueprints. We've never ever seen one of the gem blueprints in there. Often it's always just these free-to-play blueprints that are available, and they usually just cycle. So I wouldn't be surprised that after the Milky Way, we might see a Navas Control, and then after that, it will just keep cycling and repeating. So Lucerne Scrolls, if you buy the premium tier, you do get a free, pretty much guaranteed crystal chest blueprint, and as a free-to-play spender, it's important to note that you do get a gathering blueprint, and this is pretty much the main way to get those blueprints besides spending gems. So if you want to get the gathering equipment for whatever reason, you're going to have to do Lucerne Scrolls, which is obviously fairly easy, and it's always available in the free-to-play tier, but if you want to get the better blueprints, you do have to purchase the basically pay-to-win version. So now that we've discussed the free-to-play methods of getting blueprints and blueprint fragments, what are the more pay-to-win methods? And I'll start off by mentioning with pay-to-win methods, they are usually fairly low value, whether it be buying bundles or doing specific events I will mention. Pay-to-win players usually get screwed over when it comes to blueprints and either have to spend a lot of money or just do the normal free-to-play low spender events, but just do them to a crazy level. So a pay-to-win player might get to the floor 100 on the hunt for history, free-to-play low spender probably like floor 30. So that's the real main difference between pay-to-win and low spender free-to-plays. They get to do those events a lot more hardcore, where you can't. But there are a few other just pay-to-win only methods really to get blueprints. And the first one is through the VIP shop, especially for the legendary blueprints. So you'll notice that after like VIP 10, you start to get legendary blueprint fragments available to you in the VIP shop. And there's something really important to note about these. They are random fragment chests. The only thing you really get to control is what troop type it is. So these are really, really bad value. You don't get to choose what you're getting. It's just pretty much you and your luck. You might get one of the better blueprints that are gem only, and you also might just get some of the more lower value blueprints. So VIP shop, you are going to get a blueprint, just one fragment, but it's going to be really expensive. And if you get super lucky and you got like everything to land, it's going to cost you somewhere in the realm of like 50,000 gems to get one blueprint. So this is a really low value way of getting blueprints, especially since you can't even choose where it goes. So really, you have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars, or at least hundreds of thousands of gems, to really justify buying these random fragment chests, since they are low value. And even lower value is buying crystal keys from the pretty much shop, which you could technically do if you really wanted a ton of blueprints. So if you were a mega whale, you could go into the other section right now and just buy like 1 billion of these keys, and then you're just kind of set. But most players are not going to do that, and it would be extremely poor value. But if you so chose to do it, you would have that option. The other real pay-to-win method to get blueprints is occasional bundles that will come around. So for example, the Black Friday sale came around recently and it had some blueprint fragment choice chests in there. These are fairly good value if you're looking to purely buy blueprints, and if you get to the max tier, I think you get like one blueprint. So if you want to spend money and get blueprints and a few materials as well, you could purchase some occasional bundles that do come around, like the Black Friday sale. But keep in mind, these are often a little bit more rare, and you only see them maybe like once or twice a month at the maximum, because Lilith doesn't really sell blueprint fragments in the actual shop. Often it's through events or just the VIP shop in general. So if you want to buy blueprints, you're probably not going to get them from the shop that often. More, you'll get materials from the shop rather than you will actual blueprint fragments. Since Lilith really does want to milk everybody for those blueprints, they really don't give them in the shop very often. So now that we've made it to the end of today's video, I would like to discuss one thing that I am doing tomorrow at 6 UTC, and that is I will be streaming me entering KVK. So if you want to see me enter KVK, do all the beginning KVK stuff, or you just want to ask me questions about my KVK, or questions about your account, or questions about anything, tune into that live stream at 6 UTC tomorrow. I'll be putting it in the pinned comment and also in the description. At an exact UTC date, it will be UTC 11th of the 29th at 6 o'clock. So if you want to come by, please do consider it. It supports the channel. I find the live streams very fun when I do them. I just haven't had the time to do one for like the last month or so, but we're back on the live stream grind. So come to the live stream. Link will be in the pinned comment and also in the description. And if you're in my Discord server, you will get notified when I go live. Now, I just want to say thank you for watching and I hope to see you in the next one.